Hey everybody, welcome to the real United States, and we are in the Congressional Cemetery in Washington, D.C. And I like to come here from time to time. A lot of historical figures here. And this is still an operating cemetery. There are still interments happening here, even though this cemetery has been here for a long, long time. But this beautiful monument that you see next to me, it says, erected by order of the Congress of the United States in 1823. Well, we don't have good light on the other side of it, but what this is the tomb of Elbridge Gerry. Now, for those of you that are wondering, what does that name mean? It sounds familiar. Well, what it's most usually remembered for in the American lexicon now is the word gerrymandering. Now, for those of you who don't remember from high school civics or government what gerrymandering is the redistricting and reforming of congressional districts to get them in a way that constituents will favor one party over the other. And while not illegal, it's a highly questionable practice. However, where the word came from, Elbridge Gerry served as the governor of Massachusetts at one time, later in his career, but at that time there was redistricting being done, and one of the districts was drawn so bizarrely that it resembled a salamander. And so in the popular press, it became gerrymander, and it stuck. It was clever, it was catchy, and it stuck. Interestingly enough, Governor Gerry did not want to sign the redistricting act or whatever it was, but reluctantly did because, well, we got to get something done. We got to move on with business. So the word that's associated with him is actually something that he opposed, but that is lost to history for most of us. Why is this significant, though? It's not just because of this word. Elbridge Gerry is the only signatory to the Declaration of Independence that is buried here in the District of Columbia, or pretty much anywhere in the mid-Atlantic states here. He was a signatory to the Declaration. He served in the Continental Congress during 1776, signed the Declaration, later signed the Articles of Confederation. Now, for those of you, either American or not, who don't know, after the end of the American Revolution and prior to the ratification of the U.S. Constitution, we operated as a nation under a document called the Articles of Confederation. Well, that had to be, approved and signed just like the Constitution. And it was, and Gerry was one of the signatories to that. Now, interestingly enough, he wasn't a signatory to the Constitution because he refused to sign it. Well, he refused to sign it because at that time it did not include a Bill of Rights. So he's like, no, you're putting too much power in the federal national government, they call it, and not with the states and the people, and he wouldn't have it, he wouldn't sign it. Now, what makes his career even more peculiar is that he served as the 5th Vice President of the United States. Big deal. Well, yeah, it is, because he was the 2nd Vice President under President James Madison. So in 1813, till his death in November 1814, he was the Vice President under Madison. So what? Madison's the dude that wrote the majority of the Constitution. So clearly they had some political differences. I don't know. John Adams spoke very highly of Gerry, thought he was a man of great integrity. President Madison chose him as his running mate for his vice president. He must have felt pretty good about him despite whatever their difference of opinion was. So Gerry died a year and a half into his term as vice president. It was just his time, I guess. He became ill and passed away. But at any rate, history has not given for Elbridge a fair shake, I don't think. You know, I suppose if you're a history buff, you have an opinion whether he was a good guy or a bad guy, but I'm just saying I don't think that society in general has given him a fair shake. They've just attached this catchy word to his name, and all right, he was a dishonest person, but that's not the case. He was not a dishonest person. He was a statesman, and he got a bad rap. At any rate, this beautiful statue, or monument rather, the work of a sculptor, Frazee, I believe. I'll put his full name down here on somewheres on the screen, but the sculptor's name was Frazee, F-R-A-Z-E-E, I believe, and it's pretty ornate. It's weathered, you know. This is a relatively soft kind of stone. It looks to be sort of it's a sedimentary rock. It's not really marble. It looks like it's, well, maybe it is, but you can tell it's badly weathered in the last, well, almost 200 years. I mean, not quite. We got a little ways to go to 2023, but it's been here a while, and but it's so beautiful. This big urn is sitting on this platform, on these individually carved pedestals, little columns. I think that is so adorable. And in addition to that, there is also a granite placard here on the ground with a bronze escutcheon that explains that Gerry was the only signatory to the Declaration, who's buried here in D.C., and a nice little bronze plaque on a post talking about him, which you'll find periodically throughout Congressional Cemetery. So they've made an effort to, I guess, educate the visitors who do come here, and a lot of people do, about Gerry, and not just that he was associated with gerrymandering, because he wasn't really associated with it other than his name, because he happened to have the unfortunate call of being the governor at the time that it happened. So, whatever. That's it. Since we're coming up on our National Independence Day, I thought that I would share with you this one signer of the Declaration that is buried here in the capital city, the Washington, D.C., the District of Columbia, and I thought it was appropriate. So if you've got questions or comments, leave them in the comments section down below, or just stop in and say hi. I like that too. I love hearing from all of you. I really do. I try to get back to everybody I can. If you're new here, hey, click subscribe and come along for the adventure, because we got lots more to show you. And as always, folks, thank you for watching.